Hey, welcome to another episode of the Nomadic Millionaire Podcast, where we interview nomadic entrepreneurs from all around the world, making an impact in lots of different lives. So, with that being said, I want to give a very warm welcome to Aline here. Super excited to speak with her. She's the
Mhm.
founder of Nomad Soulmates, the Nomad Soulmates platform and dating app. And yeah, welcome to the show, Aline. Really happy to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Very exciting to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're both in Bali. We couldn't do this interview in person, but we're kind of in the hub of digital nomads as it is. Probably one of the biggest ones. So it's cool to connect with you finally. And with that
Mm,
being said, it would be great to have like a little bit of an intro. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing in Bali.
Sure. So I'm Aline and one of the co-founders and brainchild of Nomad Soulmates, as you already mentioned. And really what got me intrigued to have my home base in Bali is of course, the community. It's amazing to be surrounded by so many digital nomads, remote workers, you name it. There's so many interesting people coming to this island. So I like that. And then second of all, because of love, my partner is from Indonesia and we met here in a coffee shop and well, he's started his business when we first met. And it is more, his business is a bit more, well, very offline, yeah, he does camping trips for travelers. So basically,
Nice.
he's very different. His business model is very different from who I am. But there are yeah, because of that, I decided that Bali is actually a really nice place to be, and then I decided to settle here. However, we definitely both feel the travel bug, and it's nice since my
Mhm.
partner is now able to give responsibilities to his team, and so now we can hopefully next year hit the road together. So I'm excited.
Amazing, amazing. And now, did you kind of meet your partner before you launched the Nomad Soulmates, or after? Was it kind of like at the same time?
It was in the middle of, no, sorry. So it was one of our launches in Bali for our website.
Hmm.
So back then we didn't have an app yet. So I think I started already, yeah, I've been probably a year or so into Nomad
Okay,
Soulmates when we first met.
okay.
Yeah. So I was just
Nice,
really in
nice.
the community building phase.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I was just curious if you met him through Nomad Soulmates, or
Yeah, everybody's
that would have
asking
been
the
interesting,
question.
right? But that's cool. You never know. You never know when you
Yeah,
meet your person. So,
yeah, I agree.
yeah. With that being said, like, can you tell us a little bit about more about your personal journey as a digital nomad and how you came to start Nomad Soulmates?
Sure. So I myself became a nomad around, oh my gosh, I think it's around 8 years, 9 years now.
Uh,
And yeah, so I first heard about working and traveling um, as a combination that you could do that around that
mm,
time from a blogger, a German blogger, and
right.
I was definitely like I was right away hooked by that because yeah, I was traveling before, but more as a backpacker in a gap year, which is something very common for Europeans or especially in Germany people to do.
Hmm.
And I knew already I love traveling a lot, but
Yeah.
I just I didn't really fit in back home anymore. Like many probably relate,
Mhm.
you travel, you
That's right.
change as a person, and you just don't want to go back to your, yeah, old life. That was
Yeah.
me.
Def
And so I was
Definitely.
completely hooked by that lifestyle idea and really saw the potential for everybody to really, this freedom that it allows you can really mean so much for many people to either be, if you want to be deciding to be an at home dad, you could, and
Mm,
or if you want to just take off and travel, you could. And so I just really
right.
early on believed in my lifestyle, and
Hmm.
then that is what got me started with Nomad Soulmates. So
Right.
I love this community so much, and I went on my first remote working summit, and I met the people I was reading their blogs from. So I
Hmm.
got more and more excited about this lifestyle and believe that this will be the future. And now 9 years later, we're here with so many people doing exactly that. But I've always wanted, and it was, for me, it was important to, yeah, to, that we have this lifestyle, but not be it downgraded by like relationships and love and the meaningful connections, that this is not something we automatically lose by deciding to
Right.
live that lifestyle. So I wanted to create an opportunity for people to still tap into that and to have a community that cares just as much as I do about
Hmm.
like maintaining meaningful relationships and finding love, even though the lifestyle. So yeah, that was my mission, and it still is.
Amazing, amazing. So you kind of went on this journey, you got hooked to the lifestyle, and then did you kind of
Yeah.
see this as a problem? You're like, hey, this is a problem I can solve? Or was it something like you were feeling personally just by moving around a lot, the typical digital nomad challenge of being able to build deeper relationships? Or was it like more from personal or yeah,
Probably combined. So
combined?
in
Okay.
the very beginning, as I said, I was on this remote on
Hmm.
this conference, and that's when I, for the first time, had real conversations with people who already lived that lifestyle. I was still back home, basically watching them
I
living the
see.
life I want to live. Um,
Yeah.
but there I saw this opportunity to A, do something meaningful, and B, providing a solution for people who told me that this is really something they suffer, because back then
Mhm.
it was even like a new thing. Nobody knew about digital nomads really back then. And but these people were basically the first people. And for them it was even harder to find other like-minded people who want to live this
Yeah,
lifestyle, right? So it's a different story
absolutely.
today. But back then, I got so intrigued by this idea that I couldn't forget it anymore. It's like one of the things I had to do.
Yeah, that nice,
Yeah.
nice. That's awesome. So I
Mhm.
guess we'll talk about kind of building an online community as you've done a really great job. There's, thousands of members in your group. And can you maybe share some of the insights or the strategies you may have used to grow Nomad Soulmates to such a big community and have it be like not only just a community, but people are super engaged and people are supportive.
Yeah.
People are always, looking forward to updates.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest one is vulnerability. Sharing with
Mhm.
people like me, I guess, as a leader in a community, I'm very open about emotions, about the lifestyle we're gonna like I personally live. And
Mhm.
just that I think allows other people to share their stories. And that was in the very beginning. And I tried to experiment with different topics, like what do people like to talk about, especially when it comes to dating and finding love as a nomad. What are the
Mhm.
challenges, but also what's the good things about it. And
Yeah.
I think when you're just very honest about the way things are, then other people feel inspired to chip into the conversation. And that's been amazing. However, what really took off in the community is when people started sharing their own introductions. And it's not just a
Mhm.
picture and one sentence. Sometimes it's 5 pictures, maybe even a video, and
Mhm.
really in-depth descriptions of who the people truly are. They share their vulnerabilities. They share what they're looking for, how their life looks. And this is, you come in and you see profile after profile after profile and you feel so inspired, um,
Mhm.
that, yeah, it's amazing to see who we really have in the community. And that makes it meaningful. And just by now, I'm not necessarily post every day, but other members are
Yeah.
posting every day. And it's just very nice to witness that. And whenever you feel brave enough, you also make the jump and share. And yeah, so for some people, they come in and do it right in the first beginning when they see it, and other people just need more time, or then they just
Mhm.
like to engage in the comments versus making their own post. Everybody's different and shows up differently in the community, and all is amazing. So, yeah.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you see people from all walks of life, all ages, and it's really inspiring to see people just kind of putting themselves out there in this vulnerable way. It's really cool to see. Um, and
Yeah.
I guess like with the group, did you do any sort of marketing tactics to be able to grow it? Did it just organically, like people were like, "Hey, this is what I want," and then we just join and sign up?
I remember the first days of Nomad Soulmates, literally in the first week. We had 400, 500 people just flooding the group. And we're like,
Wow.
I need this. I want this. I want to, not just have another Tinder kind of experience. I like to um, make meaningful connections because that's one thing I really miss in the community, in my nomad life, I mean. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's 400 people in there. Me as a new beginner community manager back then, groups were not even a thing. I think I had one of the first
Mm.
tried this new feature out, right? So everything
Yeah.
was new to everybody,
Nice.
and that made it also very interesting because I was not just like, hey, um, let's build this together because I'm new to this. You guys are new to this. Like, let's figure
Mm-hmm.
out how we can use this group as a platform. And it was a lot of trial and error. We had a lot of people suggesting things. From day one, everybody wanted an app.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn as you
Yeah.
go, as you go. And
Nice.
yeah, yeah. So
It was
I
really
guess
community driven.
it's a very community driven,
Hmm.
yeah,
And you are now
project.
working on an app, right? Or is the app is launched?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've always wanted an app.
Hmm.
Um, but of course, there are challenges. Like I had never known how to build an app, and it felt in the beginning so far away. I needed help because I'm not a tech person. I love community. I like to connect people, but I needed to find the right people first, and yeah, build an app. And I'm so proud and so excited that last year we did launch this app.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it is doing the job for now, and we're very much looking to improve the experiences at the moment since we get a lot of feedback every day. Um,
Yeah.
so that's that, and I'm very excited to see where it's going. Yeah, very excited.
Amazing.
And for your question, like if we ever done marketing, never, not
Yeah.
in a
No, never.
single. I didn't spend a dollar in anything, so
Wow.
it was really, I guess, it's one of these concepts where it really shows when you position, I guess, yourself and also provide a really
Hmm.
good solution for a problem. Then, and of course, I realize no, dating and finding love is something that's as just a human need. Is
Hmm.
of course, yeah, how to say it's something people already automatically look for, I guess. So that
For sure.
helps.
For sure.
So yeah,
Totally. No.
yeah,
No, it's definitely like one of the, main needs of human society, but it's also not so easy to just be able to have a successful product like that. Um, can you share any particular insights of maybe the demographics of your community? Any interesting trends or patterns you're noticing regarding people that are joining Nomad Soulmates recently?
yeah. Well, it's since pandemic, it's been very interesting to see we have lots and lots of transitioners. So people who basically say, I've been 9 to 5, I like to change my life and become a nomad. And because of
Hmm.
COVID, it changed. Like I saw that like everyday people can do this, and I could ask my boss to, make my job remote. And so we have a lot of people coming in since pandemic
Mm,
that are like this. We have
yeah,
lots of van lifers definitely coming from Europe. So
nice.
there's a different type of nomad, right? So lots of
Mhm.
van lifers coming in. So these, I guess, are these trends that we definitely experienced during the pandemic because you couldn't really go anywhere. So people took their car to live, and that was definitely a
Interesting.
thing. Yeah,
So you were seeing people actually, sorry,
and online events, just in general, our
and
community
online
was
events.
much more open to meeting
Mm,
online, having a need to meet people online. So
that's right.
yeah,
That's right. I remember you did like I think it was around the holidays, like at Christmas time, online Nomad Soulmates meetup. That was really cool.
Yes, yes, we do that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And so that's interesting. You were growing even during the pandemic. I guess people really were craving that human connection. And I think now you also still do like live in-person meetups and events, right? What's that like? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so one feature I'm so excited for and looking forward to. However, it's also, I think, our biggest challenge is
Yeah.
offline meetups. Just to be
Mm,
able to facilitate that worldwide is a challenge. And we are looking for ways right
okay.
now how we can do that. So maybe with
Hmm.
ambassadors, or if anybody hears this and is interested to like
Yeah, for sure.
just be part of like solution providing or brainstorming, we're always open for that. But I'm
Hmm.
excited. Like I know I want that, but to just meet people in person. And right now, it's very much me organizing events in Bali, since this is a place where many nomads go, or wherever I
Yeah.
am. So I also did it in Bansko in Bulgaria, and
Mm.
in Cologne one time as well. So it's
Nice.
just, but I don't want it to be a one person show, right? I want our community
Sure.
to come in, chip in, and create their own meetups, because I feel like we have all something to give, and many
Hmm.
people like to share their own, um, yeah, events or their own
Mm.
stories, maybe their own cities. So we're exploring
Yeah.
that feature now, and I'm excited when that launches.
Nice. No, that's really cool. I think people are craving something like that, right? Especially as being a digital nomad, and in general, everyone's just kind of glued to their screens. So when you get to actually connect with
Yeah.
people in person, I think people are really craving that. So that could be a really, yeah, integral part of the community for sure. Um, and do you see like relationships are clearly they can be challenging as like digital nomads are constantly changing environments. How do you guys support your members in building these meaningful connections while living like a nomadic lifestyle?
Yeah. So, um, first of all, I would say that yeah, the lifestyle comes with these challenges, like being always on the go, I guess. Not every
Yeah.
nomad is, but especially digital nomads, they
Hmm.
deal with that challenge more like than expats, for example,
Yeah.
or remote workers who decide to be from home. However, I think in this community, we also often blame the lifestyle too much because
Yeah,
I
true, true.
feel like it seems like to me this easy route or this easy way to blame the lifestyle, blame something versus me, or like
Hmm.
looking inside, you know,
Hmm.
because it is not really to, yeah, dating has always been, I mean, could be something that is challenging or frustrating to people, no matter if you're a nomad or not. So I always say live your best life as a nomad, and you will attract people that are drawn to whatever you're doing, whatever kind of energy you're spreading out, right, to the world. So I feel
Hmm.
I'm a firm
Nice,
believer that no matter not, you're able to receive love if you're open
for
for that.
sure.
So I guess
Absolutely.
there's also sometimes deeper things we deal with, like traumas and whatever that might be, that
Hmm.
just keep us single. And maybe it's, yeah, or some people don't even want to necessarily date in that sense, but just meet people
Mm.
for fun or whatever.
Totally.
Back to your original question, please remind me.
Mhm.
I think
Oh, I think
how we
I'd said
maintain.
like, yeah, yeah. How are you guys supporting your members exactly?
Yeah. So what I really love is, yeah, as I said, with the upcoming feature, the meetup. So I think this is really something
Mm.
where we can aspire to maintain these relationships, because
Yeah,
first you have to think like in the beginning stages of Nomad Soulmates, we've really been a connecting platform. So we just provide the introduction to people, and then we let them naturally flow as their conversations go and their interactions go.
yeah.
So we don't really have influence after that anymore, after this initial match. However,
Mm.
continuing from that, like the next phase of Nomad Soulmates, and where I see the future really also of the company, is that we host retreats, events, and it would,
Mm.
this more off from the app and back into the real world. So making sure that people also really meet. That is, I think,
Yeah.
everybody's goal. And I really care about people succeeding. So whenever we have a success story, people ask me about, oh, so since you're losing money because you have a success story, right? For me, it's the complete opposite. There could be
Mhm.
nothing more inspiring to actually help people to do that. And to be
Yeah.
honest, they're our best marketing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, great
So,
testimonial.
but that's not the initial thought. The initial thought is really just like, I really want to, I care about my community, and I'm so glad that I have co-founders who are just as invested in the mission as I am. Um, so I
Mhm.
feel very supported into going into that next phase where we can offer um, retreats. And I can't mention this right now, but if we would have had
Yeah.
this conversation like 1 or 2 weeks after, and maybe you can mention it
Uh-huh.
in the show notes when it's finalized, but we do
Yeah.
plan a huge, like, it's not really a side project, it's actually an additional thing to the app that we believe
Mm.
people will have lots of success stories with. Um,
Okay.
I can't tell more, but it's so exciting.
Oh no. It's
Unfortunately,
a
just
nice
because it's
tease,
not
yeah.
confirmed yet, but it's
Okay.
promising, and I'm very excited for that next phase.
Okay. Very
Because I
cool.
believe it will help people to, yeah, to to make these meaningful connections and truly meet in person and have, be more invested in the whole thing. So that's all I can say.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll let you
We
know in
can,
like 2 weeks.
yeah, yeah. Sounds good. We can definitely drop it in the show
Yeah.
notes for sure. Um, what are, speaking of, you mentioned you want to help people connect and find love, and what are some of the craziest like success stories maybe off the top of your head that you could tell us about?
Craziest successors. I had definitely love the success story of my co-founder, Sebastian.
Mm,
So
nice.
he's a developer and obviously is helping with everything tech related. And
Hmm.
he met his wife through one of our speed dating events. It was one of the first speed dating events where he had to do some testing and actually speak to the members too. So by
Mm,
accident, he met his wife on the speed dating event, matching with her. And
wow.
a couple of weeks after, he would go to BAM school, which is where she was,
Hmm.
and I believe they traveled a little bit around together and obviously had a great connection. And so, yeah, they live now for a couple of years already in their home base in Bulgaria. And
Wow.
that is definitely something. Yeah, you never really know where you meet your partner in a coffee shop, in a speed dating event. You never know when that first connection really happens and what can prosper out of that. So that's one.
All right.
And then
Nice.
another one is from Sarah and Matthew, who just recently also got married. And Sarah has told me that she has been very hopeless about the whole dating thing as a nomad because she's one
Hmm.
of the travelers who has traveled 120 countries and is really
Wow.
heavily traveling, right? So and she wanted to continue doing that with a partner, but her travel
Hmm.
speed was, is insane in this,
Yeah, that's quite
yeah.
fast for sure.
And but so Matthew, he did one of these introduction posts in our Facebook community, and Sarah just
Hmm.
joined like 2 days or so and found his post, messaged him, and I believe they had a conversation on Facebook for a little while. Had
Hmm.
some Zoom calls actually, and I'm not exactly sure, but I think they met up somewhere in America. I think
Okay.
California, somewhere
Wow.
there. I might be wrong. I don't want to say anything wrong.
Sure.
But both of them are heavy travelers. Both of their values are matching. And she
Mm,
keeps telling me how grateful she is for, the community and that we've been able to provide this platform and where people can just, have the same desires and the same struggles. So, um,
totally.
yeah, that is
That,
definitely one I'm astonished by because I haven't really seen anyone, um, having a connection so fast as when she joined 2 days and boom. That was
2 days and she
good
already
luck to
found
her.
it.
Yeah.
Especially
Well,
considering like
it's definitely
how
special.
yeah, no, it's yeah, that's amazing. Especially considering how fast she's traveling, and they kind of both
Yeah,
match their values, and he's also a fast traveler, so that's pretty cool. Do
definitely.
you
Yeah.
do you feel nomads can date non-nomads, or do you think nomads are pretty much relegated to dating other nomads from everything you've
I mean,
seen?
I'm the perfect example for someone who's
Mm,
dating someone, or we're not dating anymore, we're engaged. But
mm-hmm.
I guess, yeah, I'm definitely a good example for someone who is with a person who is not a nomad. But
Mm,
I think when you have a together goal and maybe not from the very beginning, right? But to see, okay, you're clicking with someone, the energies are amazing together. And I believe if the will is strong and you both are on the same page, then it's
mm,
definitely possible. So I think the reason why it's possible with me and my partner is true because, well, he has a business mindset and that
mm-hmm.
he understands, uh, there's many overlaps, let's say, in
Sure.
what I believe in, and through me, he discovered what a nomad is, and
Nice.
about traveling. So we were traveling together. That was definitely
Yeah,
also a relationship test. Does that
for
work?
sure, for sure.
So if that all works well, and nobody says that there's not issues, right? There's always things
Yeah,
to work
yeah.
through together.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, if you choose like, yeah, if you have chosen your person, I guess, then you're willing to go through these struggles together. And I definitely think this makes you also stronger as a couple. So it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's not easy since like his passport is weaker than the German
Mm-hmm.
passport. So yeah, it's been a struggle to travel in Europe together, be there more than 3 months for him. So we've
Mm-hmm.
been looking into what's possible, and it's just exhausting because the governments are just not picking up so fast as the
Yeah,
lifestyles are evolving. And that's
right.
frustrating. It's definitely very old school still. Yeah.
It really is. It's kind of unfortunate, and it also, in some ways, limits romance in a bit, in a way, because if you really like somebody that you met in Europe, but they can't come to the States, and you have families, it's definitely
It's so
complicated.
frustrating.
For sure, for sure. But we are seeing this huge rise in digital nomadism, right? Like especially like your business kind of skyrocketed after the lockdowns and pandemics and stuff. How do you see this continuing, and how do you see remote work changing the idea of dating in general?
Ooh, I feel like we're still in this experiment phase, to be honest with you. Like it could go
Mm,
everywhere. It could actually either inspire more countries to be more open to digital nomads, and I definitely see this in countries and even villages, right? There's a good friend of mine, Gonzalo. He's very promoting village like entrepreneurs and nomads going to villages for community reasons. And for them, it's good
nice.
because the economics are rising for them. So I definitely
Mm,
see countries being more open and, governments are working with them. So that's one thing.
yeah.
But it could also for us nomads, like what I see in the community too, is that once you've been traveling a lot, you realize, well, you need structure and balance and a home base. So I see, like
That's
myself, for example, I was getting very
yeah.
tired of traveling. So actually being here with my partner was really helpful and it really nurtured, I think, our love and relationship. Um,
Hmm.
in the sense that we can be together also. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see both sides and I'm very curious to see where it goes. I'm not a fan of like fixing a mindset on one thing because Corona has showed us to always stay
Hmm.
flexible and
For sure.
adjust to whatever life is, I guess, throwing at us. However, I could
Hmm.
see it definitely go both ways that nomads like to come back to their communities or have one or two home bases. And, that's the nice thing about being so free is that whenever,
Hmm.
however you feel like you can either retreat or you can be social or traveling and whatever you desire. So
It's
yeah,
true. It's one of the advantages.
it's a
We
bit
can
of an
travel
open
as
book
much.
for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's one of the pros of being able to have this freedom, right? You can travel as much as you want or as little as you want. And I'm kind of at a similar stage as well. Like I still love traveling, but I would
Yeah,
like to have like a few home bases, maybe, three, four locations in a year. But it is also nice to be grounded in one place. Absolutely. It definitely helps in terms of routine and getting stuff done, I'd imagine. Um, what are your thoughts on Bali? Because Bali's been getting a lot of attention recently in terms of like how many tourists it's getting. Is it
yeah,
getting like overdone? Like, how do you see the future here?
yeah. I mean, I see it again both sided in a way. I do see the positives for,
Mhm.
um, in general, the Indonesian government does does make improvements. However, the tourism that is just crazy, especially in the south. So I
Yeah.
live Ubud, right, is the middle
Hmm.
Bali, but still Ubud gets a lot of tourists. Canggu, where
Yeah.
you are staying right now, definitely is also full.
Yeah. It's
And
very cool.
unfortunately, it's just getting very crowded. And my dear Bali, it's a shame because it wasn't like this like 7 years ago. However,
Yeah.
I do also think it's a bit annoying, to be honest, that the
Hmm.
South gets so much attention and there
Hmm.
Bali is not just about the South. So luckily for my partner, I'm also spending a lot of times in the jungle and camping and out to in the nature. And it has
Right.
so much to offer in the north, in East Bali. It's stunningly beautiful. And unfortunately, I believe I mean, yeah, most digital nomads there are in that bubble.
Hmm.
Especially in Canggu. And it's really hard once you're in there to get out, I guess sometimes. Because I have great community, that's
It does.
definitely nice. However, yeah, I would encourage people to go more a little in the north and experience
Mm.
what Bali is truly about. Because there you have the villages, people still cook with
Mm.
wood fire. So, it's a very
Wow.
different, it's actually the Bali, and what's happening
It's,
in Canggu is uh,
it's kind of
yeah, yeah,
a little bit of
and
a gentrified version of Bali.
yeah,
I totally can see that. So, yeah, I need
yeah.
to get out of Canggu myself as well. I've been here 3 weeks and I should explore a little bit. Um, um, yeah, so any advice you would give to, someone that's embracing becoming a digital nomad or someone that's already on this journey? Any important lessons or insights that you've gained along the way, either related to dating or related to business that you might have?
My biggest advice would be, I guess, to hone in on the lifestyle you really want to live, do the work you love. And I know it's easier said than sometimes done because we have to face our challenges and fears sometimes to really do that. But I think when we really truly live the life we feel in our hearts we're supposed to live, then we really prosper. And I feel everything else is falling into place. And actually, in the end, it always turns out okay, or even amazing. So I would really encourage people who are starting out as nomads to be connected with like-minded people because that is helping for sure to fill your brain, with your being with inspiration. And I definitely believe that when you surround yourself with supportive people who truly care about you and vice versa, is that, yeah, you're supported, you're not alone, even as a nomad. So that helped me a lot too in my beginning stages, be in co-working spaces, for example, where they provide a lot of community in person and that can hold you so much. So I
For
think
sure.
that's that one. And then for relationship and dating, I mean, I'm not a dating expert. I'm just providing
Yeah, sure.
solutions. Um, but for me, same thing. Like I wouldn't, yeah, trusting yourself that even though the lifestyle can throw up new challenges with locations and visas and so on. That even though sometimes it seems frustrating, that coming back to who we are and to coming back to the life we love the most, I believe, or honing in on that work that you maybe passionately like to do. I think this is very attractive in itself, and it will attract people who I guess vibrating on that same energy. That's so brilliant. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
it's
Bali
kind of
talk, yeah.
true. Yeah, it's Bali talk. But it's true. Like I always
Mhm.
attract amazing people, and I truly believe it's, when you're positive, then you like to hang out with other positive people. So yeah,
Absolutely.
that was a long
Absolutely.
one.
I think that's no, that's great. That's good advice. And yeah, I think we can look forward to a lot with Nomad Soulmates. You have the app and you have events coming up. Yeah, if you want to go into anything related to that and where can they find out more about you, Nomad Soulmates?
Yeah, sure. So the best place to find out about our community and events, what's happening, is for sure the Nomad Soulmates group. So basically, just type it in, you will find it. And
Yeah.
what I definitely also advise to do is download the free app because, in Facebook, the unfortunate thing is when you write an amazing intro post, it just gets down and lost in the feed. So I encourage people to download with the app because then it's always being presented to new people. It's not being lost in the feed too. So
Mhm.
yeah, these two are great opportunities for you to meet other nomads, to join our events. And as I said, soon we launch our meetup feature, figuring this
Yeah.
out right now, like how to make it possible, but it will come, and then we will see it in the app as well. So it will be easy to
Aw-
just join.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Aline.
so
I
much.
think we all learned a lot through you sharing your experiences and really wish you a lot of luck with your journey as an entrepreneur and with Nomad Soulmate. So thanks so much
Thank you
for
so much
joining.
for
It was a
having me.
pleasure.
Thank
Absolutely,
you so
absolutely.
much.
And that's it for another episode of the Nomadic Nine podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining. See you on the next one.